my wonderful sweet baby. So today I want to talk to you guys about this young girl named Neziah Harris. Now, this story has been going crazy on TikTok, and I haven't really been seeing it that much on mainstream media or even YouTube videos from it, but I know that a lot of TikTok content creators are keeping up with this story and making sure this story gets light. Now, the regarding story of this whole situation is regarding this 13-year-old girl named Neziah Harris, and she had unfortunately had a relationship with a man that was 41 years old. This man had the name Jarvis Butts, and Jarvis Butts was pretty much, a man that honestly groomed many different kids that he had encountered, including his own. So this story is just extremely crazy. I have a few TikTok videos that I want to go ahead and show you guys as well. But for the most part, I just want to give you guys a little bit of a backstory so you guys know what it is that you're getting yourself into. Now, I just want to give you guys a warning because you're going to be upset with a lot of the things that you see in this story. I know that I was progressively more and more upset seeing the context of this story. But yeah, Neziah Harris, she is now missing, and she's been missing for over a year, you guys. And with her being missing for over a year, people are just now starting to try to put two and two together of this girl being missing, because all of this context that came out of her and this relationship with this man, they found all this out last year, but nobody decided to, actually put action towards her being missing until now, which is unfortunate. And, something that we really have to, as a community, figure out why it took this long. But also, it depends on the people that she was around as well. And the more that I show you these videos, you'll start to see that a lot of the people around her have truly failed her. There's tons of videos, of like the court cases and everything like that as well. Unfortunately, I can't put everybody's TikTok videos here into this video because this video will be extremely long. But I would encourage you guys to do your research on this story. And, just if you could be of some sort of assistance or some sort of help, just even to bring awareness to the story is always, a significant help. But I'm going to go ahead and let you guys see some of the videos that I've gathered with this story, and then we're going to go ahead and talk about it after.
You took my little man from me. I want you to suffer just like I'm suffering right now.
Her last text was to that creep, saying she still hadn't gotten her period. That was the last message she ever sent while alive. A 41-year-old man has been charged with the first-degree murder of a 13-year-old girl after allegedly finding out she was pregnant with his child. The last time Zia Harris was seen was in January 2024, getting off her school bus in Detroit. It's been reported that she was about 5 months pregnant at the time. This man, Jarvis Ramon, got into a relationship with Zia's aunt just to get close to her. He has about 5 kids with Zia's aunt and somewhere between 12 to 13 kids with other women. And let's not forget, Jarvis had already spent nearly 10 years in prison for 2 other girls in similar cases. How did Zia's family not see this coming? Did her aunt really not know about his past? Why did they ever let him near Zia? By November 2023, Jarvis had learned Zia was pregnant. His online searches revealed he was looking for pills, methods, and even Reed antifreeze. And of course, he was also messaging other women at the same time. He later told someone he'd pick Zia up from school, and after that, she was never seen again. Her body still hasn't been found.
All right, you guys seen what that whole situation was regarding. I'm going to go ahead and reiterate a few things that you might have skipped over, and that way you guys are a little bit more certain of the story. So this guy that this young girl had been entertaining, because he had pretty much groomed her, he had pretty much, about 12 to 13 kids out there already. He had a relationship with this girl when she was roughly, starting out roughly at about 11, and she was at the age that she went missing, 13. And also, nobody was really aware of this situation. But then when this situation did come forth and people were aware, then, that is when Jarvis's sister actually intervened and actually ratted him out because things didn't seem right to her. You'll probably see a little bit more of that when the course of this video goes on. Jarvis even got Neziah pregnant, and when he got her pregnant, they tried to do their own version of an abortion, and he decided to give her antifreeze to, help her out with this abortion. So it was just a whole lot of going on in this situation. I also have text messages between these two, so I'm going to go ahead and let you guys see these. All right, so here are the text messages. As you guys can see, it dates all the way back to September 27th of 2022. So this is what Neziah had said to Jarvis. She says, "Come on, you okay? Where are we going? It at your choice." Then Butts is Jarvis. He says, "You tell me." Harris, which is Neziah, says, "Basement." Then she says, "You sure, or job?" So as you could see here, they have a relationship in which they do things in the basement as well as at his job. That actually comes into play because I do want to also show you this clip of his sister testifying against him in court. But also, they say, he says to her, "Can you SMD, please?" Then he says, "And make sure you erase the messages." Then she says, "Kay, that is what I plan to do." So as you guys can see in these messages, he's groomed her to know that when they have conversations, she's supposed to delete these messages right away because she doesn't want them to get caught. What's even more crazy is people have been making fake pages for her on Instagram, and they've been taking a lot of her TikTok videos and reposting them. And there's a few videos in which she's, talking about her man. And her man this whole time was Jarvis's weird self. So here are some more messages. As you guys could see, there's anywhere from June 5th, 2022, all the way down to June 27th of 2023. So I'm going to go ahead and read you guys these messages. As you guys could see, they're not in any kind of order, but let's go ahead and see what was said during this time. So the messages in June, Butts said, "I'm at your house." Then she says, "Damn, we were just there." Then she says, "You bet not be in my room." And then she also says, "I need another phone. I miss you." He then says, "I stole your," I'm just going to say, undergarments. Then on June 24th of 2023, he says to her, "Send some pictures, please." Then she says, "Do you still got the other pics?" She then says, "I will send some." On June 27th of 2023, he says, "Are you N yet?" N meaning, is she in the buff? Then you can see that she's trying to do anything to keep him around. So she asks him, "Are you mad that I didn't get, in the buff?" So these next text messages that you guys are going to see are pretty much text messages that were leading up to their final moments of speaking with one another. So as you guys can see, Jarvis says, I'm not used to you telling me no." Then she says, "Come on, babe, I'm sorry. Just not in the mood right now. I'm sorry." So September 26, 2023, she says to him, "Bae, you up?" He doesn't respond, so she gives him question marks. Then she says, "Yeah." Then she also tells him, "My period haven't came at all. Hello, you there?" He then responds and says, "What you mean?" Then she says, "It have not came." He responds to her and says, "Since when?" She says, "Since I was in the hospital." And then he says, "That was last month." She says, "I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I have to go to the doctor's tomorrow." And then he says, "You said you took a pregnancy test and it was negative." She says, "It did." And then he said, "So get another one." She says, "I can't. I have no money. You go get one." She then says, "You ain't scared to get a plan B, get a pregnancy test and bring it later today. Just act like you have to use the bathroom." Then she says, "Please, will you do it?" And then she says, "Hello." Alrighty, so you guys pretty much seen those text messages. So now I want to show you guys another video explaining the situation. This one pretty much just explains the correlation that Neziah pretty much has with Jarvis. Because apparently Jarvis and Neziah know each other because Neziah's aunt has children by Jarvis. So this whole thing is topsy-turvy and it does get a little bit confusing, but listen to this clip.
A 41-year-old man has been charged with first-degree murder of a 13-year-old girl after he allegedly found out she was pregnant with his baby. Neziah Harris was last seen in January 2024 getting off a school bus in Detroit when she was believed to be around 5 months pregnant. Police say Jarvis Ramon Butts sent the girl text beginning in September 2022, and a year later in September 2023, she texted him that she thought she was pregnant. Police say that by November of that year, there was clear evidence he knew she was pregnant with his baby. Prosecutors revealed that Butts knew Neziah through a family member, saying he shared children with Neziah's aunt and called him an expert groomer. Prosecutors claimed Butts' phone records showed he searched online for pills and drinking red antifreeze. Neziah's body has not been found.
Alrighty, you guys, so I'm going to show you guys this last video. I feel like this last video will tie up a lot of loose ends for you guys and make it more easier for you guys to understand it, because there's a lot that goes on with this story and it is very confusing, but I just feel like this last video will definitely tie everything in for you guys, and then I'll come to you guys with my final thoughts.
My jaw's completely dropped, y'all. Look at this.
Other evidence on this day: clothing discovered in a search near the Rouge River believed to have been dumped by Jarvis Butts. Jarvis Butts was already a convicted. Records show he had spent nearly 10 years in prison for sexual a teenager.
Before I get into the charges, and the main charge of premeditated first degree, I have to speak on Neziah Harris and the community who failed her.
Her body has never been found, but
I saw Neziah the day she went missing.
Tijuana Butts is the defendant's sister.
I kept seeing a little girl get in and out of his truck, going to the gas station and going back to his car.
Butts testifying she had stopped by her brother's auto shop on the east side for him to look at her car when she spotted a girl she didn't recognize. Jarvis told her it was his business partner's niece.
I just remember her having on a colorful jacket.
Butts says she didn't think much of it until later. This is a photo of Harris on her bus the day she disappeared in that jacket. Butts getting emotional as she testified about suspecting her brother. Jarvis Butts has several children with Neziah's aunt. Latricia Johnson has one child with Jarvis Butts. She testified Butts borrowed her car on January 9th of 2024, the day Neziah Harris disappeared.
He called and asked if he can use my car to do something with his son.
Was this normal, abnormal?
No, not normal.
Johnson testifying when he brought her car back the next day, Jarvis Butts had left something in the back seat, something believed to belong to Neziah Harris.
There was a pair of glasses that was left that my son was playing with. They were clear and they were on my son's face. So I told him to take them off. When he take them off, he handed to me. Oh, Jarvis said, "Oh, those are my sunglasses," and he snatches it from my hand.
We collected a pink jumpsuit, bodysuit style, and then a black hoodie that had a pair of white headphones in one of the pockets, some gloves, a towel, and a pair of red, black, and white gym shoes.
It's been nearly a year since the disappearance.
And he called Neziah his niece. Butts told police everything he knew about the girl was on his cell phone that police seized during a search warrant, saying, but he says he has nothing to hide. A worker of Butts testified that Butts and Neziah Harris were at their auto repair shop the evening Neziah Harris vanished. But Butts told investigators the last time he saw Neziah was weeks before.
He stated to me that he had last seen her at the end of December or early January, sometime at the grandmother's house getting her hair done. He said that her bus stop was at a 3-mile drive in Cornwall.
Even the grandma seemed to be bitter and inconsistent. This is blue on me.
So here's my thoughts. This whole situation is absolutely insane. I've been looking at this whole entire situation all throughout the day, and it has just gotten crazier and crazier the more that I've went down the rabbit hole of this whole thing. Thank you to all of those TikTok creators If you guys want, please go follow those people, or at least try to figure out what other social platforms that they're on so you guys could support them in the best way imaginable, seeing as everything that is going down with TikTok. So definitely, try to support those creators because those videos were amazing that they put together. I have so much to say. Like, for one, I feel like a lot of Nazaya's people, they did fail her, like the judge said. Like, they should have been there to support her for monsters such as Jarvis that were there to, take her out of her innocence, but they were not there for her. Instead, they let her go out at all times of night with this grown man and let her go pretty much places with this man, even communicate places with this man. There's even videos that came forth that said that the grandmother said, like, oh, I feel like her and him have something going on together. Instead of her trying to put a stop to that, she just let that happen and was actually acting as if she was angry and jealous. I'm even kind of side-eyeing some of Jarvis's, people that he worked with, because if Nazaya was coming there all the time and they always constantly seen her in and out of his truck and everything like that, why wouldn't they say something as well? So it shows me that they think that the behavior that he has is appropriate, meaning that they probably have their little person that they're doing this to as well, and that they're probably allegedly grooming somebody too. And of course, this whole situation probably has come because Jarvis probably was groomed, and this is probably things that he's experienced when he was growing up, and now he's continuing this path going on now. But the minute that he knew that he was doing something wrong, he should have immediately tried to go get himself some help so he didn't continue these cycles and keep this whole thing going. And I've noticed that a lot of people were actually skeptical, trying to figure out if Nazaya was actually still, here on this earth. But they said that, now there's too much evidence proving that she's no longer here with us. And to be honest, that's extremely heart-wrenching because she was just 13 years old and she had all of this chaos happen to her when she was only 10. And another thing that I thought was interesting and also yet disturbing was the fact that Jarvis actually had many, many kids. And out of those many kids, he actually had a 4-year-old daughter that he had given an STD to. He had actually given her chlamydia. Now, all this information is alleged, but these are the stories that I've been hearing. And then I also heard that he was actually only having children just so he can groom these kids. So this man is a very sick individual, and he truly needs to be locked up in prison for the rest of his life because, at this point, he's not doing anything to show that he has progressed since the previous time that he had went to prison for the exact same thing. And it's not like he's just doing this to random people. He's more so keeping this within his family. So it's even more kind of sick because this is just a whole nother level of ick because he's just doing this to many different people in his family and continuing to procreate and keep these cycles going of monsters that he's creating and showing them that this type of behavior is acceptable when in reality it really is not. All I have to say is justice for Nazaya, and I hope that she's able to peacefully rest because I hope that after this whole entire situation, there is a huge verdict that comes about, and I'm hoping that they are eventually able to find her remains. I didn't want to bombard you guys with so many videos, but I even seen that there was a video of another lady saying that, the family was actually screaming and yelling at him saying, just tell us where she is. And he refused to say anything in that moment. And I know that it could be that his guilt is eating him up, but I hope that he eventually tells us where she is because the family deserves to know, I feel like the people deserve to know. And I feel like if he's going to spend the remaining of his life in prison, he might as well just come clean with the truth because regardless, he's going to have to spend the remaining of his days in prison. That's at least what I hope will end up happening to him. I'm hoping that he doesn't end up getting a slap on the wrist in this entire situation. And with all of this information that has come forth, I can't really see him being able to get a slap on the wrist because so many people are angered by this situation and so many people want justice for Nazaya. And, so many people are disgusted with the outcome of this entire situation as well. But that's my opinion. What's yours?